Merry almost Christmas. Today, Emily and I, mostly Emily, would like to share with you just something light, easy, and a fun take on Christmas through the lens of the Orton family. Welcome to the What Could Go Right podcast. We are your hosts, Eric Orton.
And I'm Emily Orton.
And here we talk about personal growth and sailing. In 2014, we moved aboard a fixer-upper sailboat and bootstrapped a year sailing with our 5 kids, and it changed our lives forever.
We tell the whole story in our memoir, our book, 7 at Sea. On this podcast, we want to help you go from fear to freedom, one adventure at a time.
First of all, for those of you that are listening only, you should know that Emily and I are both wearing beautiful, bright red shirts. I'm wearing a sweater. She's wearing a t-shirt.
So festive.
Basically, we're festive. We just want you to know that.
You're basically like Mr. Fezziwig, and I could be Mrs. Fezziwig.
Totally. If you don't know who we're talking about.
Yeah, it's from Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, that's where the name of our boat came from, because the Fezziwigs threw super fun Christmas parties that everyone was invited to. They worked hard, they played hard, and that's why we named our boat Fezziwig. Everyone was invited, and it was about taking time to celebrate the good things in life.
I love that they didn't wait. Like Scrooge just kept waiting and waiting until he felt like he had enough. But the Fezziwigs were like, we've got together time now. Let's celebrate.
Yeah, let's party.
All right,
we're going to party. Okay, so this is something that Emily wrote and shared many moons ago at a concert that had spoken portions, as often is done at Christmas time. It was a super fun concert called Carols on Columbus in New York City at Broadway, Columbus Avenue, and 65th Street. And it was about 2,000 people there, and it was a fun time. So I can't wait for you to hear this little ditty that Emily has beautifully written.
Thanks, love.
Yeah.
Oh, Tannenbaum. I never met a Christmas tree I didn't like. The symbolism, the ornaments, the lights, the very marker of the season, in my opinion. As a young girl, I set up a holiday tree right in my bedroom. Never mind the thousands of lights draping the bushes outside our home. Never mind the 7-foot artificial tree in our living room, a veritable galaxy of ornamental stars fashioned from macaroni and gold spray paint. I had to have my own. So Mom let me use the spare. The spare was a fake tree, completely white and about 3 feet tall. I have since learned that artificial Christmas trees were first invented by a toilet brush company. Thinking back on my little white Tannenbaum, its inauspicious ancestry is undeniable, despite my best efforts with tinsel, garland, and syncopated colored lights. While I was raised in the philosophy of reusable artificial trees, my husband Eric was schooled in the venerable tradition of real trees, the ones that die slowly over the course of the holiday. This might have created one of the culture clashes so common among newlyweds, except our paltry student budget precluded any debate. Our first tree was the butcher paper bonus. As a teaching intern, I had all the responsibilities of a real teacher for half the salary, plus an infinite supply of butcher paper, which is, I pointed out to my husband, made from actual dead trees. I take full responsibility for the stumpless 6-foot Kelly Green Wonder taped to our living room wall, topped with a construction paper star and fitted with a half dozen brassy White House ornaments, arguably my only marriage dowry. They added some measure of sparkle, however absurd their combination with the paper tree may have seemed to Eric. Wisely, he remained without comment. He knew there would be a legitimate tree at his parents', where, to his relief, we would actually be spending the holiday week. The following year, we had a Charlie Brown tree, not much more than a branch really, set in a vase on our end table. Still, it was proportionate to our small apartment and our small family, just Eric, myself, and our 5-month-old daughter. I covered it in lavender bows from my great-grandmother's dress shop because ornaments would topple it. At night, we would sit in the glow of that diminutive tree and feel all the peace and hope of the season. Our next, Noel, featured the downstairs tree. We were in post-graduation transition, living in my parents' basement for 8 weeks. Upstairs, they had Christmas covered with a huge tree, boughs of holly, lights, stockings, the whole 9 yards. But in defense of our independence as a separate family unit, we set up a full-size tree downstairs. Admittedly, it was another spare borrowed from my parents, but at night we basked in the glow of our tree. And Christmas morning, we opened our presents before heading upstairs, where we had no qualms mooching off mom and dad's all-day holiday buffet. The following year, we settled into our first New York City apartment where we ensconced ourselves for nearly a decade. Now 2 decades. Our Christmas trees have ranged from the New York City Sticker Shock special, our everyday FICA draped in lights and ornaments, to the overcompensation, a monstrous Douglas fir that hunched against the ceiling and consumed a proper third of the room. With storage at a premium, we have closed the debate on artificial trees, which evidently emit deadly toxins anyway. Instead, we've purchased real trees from every Canadian committed to live in a van for 6 weeks in Inwood, New York. We've hauled trees home in a collapsible metal shopping carts or carried them tandem style. Most often, Eric dons his tree-carrying stocking cap, especially selected for cranial comfort and sap absorption. He sets that tree right on top of his head, a la National Geographic. The rest of us form a noisy perimeter, warning our fellow pedestrians of the wide load. There can be no doubt about our intentions, with the children proudly yelling, "That's our Christmas tree!" to every passerby. Last year, hoping for a more traditional experience, we drove our minivan to Stu Leonard's. It turned out to be tree shopping, fast food style. Once we got to the head of a long line of frozen families, we had to pick our trees bound and stacked according to type, height, and price range, each tagged with color-coordinated spray paint. I placed my order with the brightly vested sales associate. We'd like an orange 7. To wit, he cut the bands of the giant asparagus-like bundle and smacked the stump hard on the ground twice, bringing the boughs down. Sure enough, it was a tree. We got a 20-second gander at our goods, a numbered ticket, and a grunt towards the line for the cashier's booth. The cashier provided a claim receipt and instructions to the drive-through queue. Dubious, we bustled back into our van to join the procession of cars that wrapped around the store like a holiday ribbon. In the end, our van was surrounded by tall, expressionless teenage boys who strapped a tree, presumably the one we had purchased, to the top of our van, and then faded back into the forest of swirling shoppers and bounded furs. By some Christmas miracle, we did get the orange 7 we had picked. I don't know where we'll go for this year's tree. There are 7 of us in all now, so whether by foot or minivan, going anywhere is an exodus. Wherever we end up, the children will surely get a fragrant slice of stump, a sticky branch, or maybe a bit of handmade twine. Seasonal treasures worth fighting over. Inevitably, we will overestimate the height of our ceiling and underestimate the height of the tree. But when we loose the bands and that tree springs open, there will be a collective sigh in our little hearts. And oh, Tannenbaum, in that moment, we will all gratefully acknowledge that Christmas has come again.
Christmas time is here.
This was such a fun one. If you're on YouTube, we'd love to hear some of your Christmas tree stories or favorite Christmas traditions. I can tell now that this was written maybe 13 years ago. We now have 2 children living with us full time, and one's about to launch, and we have 1 grandchild, and we can now proudly, excitedly say 1 grandchild on the way. So that'll bring us up to a total of 2.
I think I have like 1.15 grandchildren right now.
And you know, we still love the Christmas tree, love the lights, love to gather around it, and love to wish you a very warm and merry and peaceful, fun holiday with the people that you love and care about.
What could go right for you this Christmas? Hey there, before we sign off, I'll just give you the sailing update. I'll keep it short and sweet. Basically, between now and the end of the year, you can use a promo code to get $500 off a trips that we're doing to the Mediterranean next year. So if you're booking a cabin for 2 people and you want to get a discount, you got to sign up to talk with me first, or just email me if we already know each other. But if you book and you use code EARLYMED2025, you'll get $500 off a cabin for 2 people. So sign up for a call or drop me a line. Let me know. That discount applies to Italy in June, Greece in July, and Croatia in August. It's first come, first serve. It's good till the end of the year or till the trip sells out, whichever comes first. We are doing other trips after that. So if you want to go to Mexico, the Bahamas, or the Caribbean, in the fall of next year. We do have space available. Pretty much everything else is booked out. We've got one trip to the Bahamas that's got space, March 31st through April 5th. So if any of that's of interest to you, let me know. Or if you want to jump on one of these med trips for early booking, you can get a $500 discount if you're booking for 2 spots. So that's the word. Hope to see you aboard.